everyone, I'm Dr. Z. I'm a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about relationships, and especially I want to share with you two main factors that I have observed over the course of my career that tend to pretty consistently showcase whether a couple, whether it's a married couple or a couple that has been together in a relationship, will make it through transition. And this is something that I have observed over the course of my career, and these two main factors tend to pop up again and again and again in couples that tend to make it through transition. Just to clarify, today I'm talking about individuals who decide to transition from one binary into another. So we're talking about transgender binary individuals, whether it's individuals who decide to transition from male to female or from female to male. And I'm not really talking about people who fall somewhere in the middle of a spectrum. So for example, a non-binary identified individuals. Because middle of a spectrum enables a little bit more flexibility in a relationship, only because there's not that many medical transition aspects that are involved. Whereas when we go from one binary into another, most of the times people do engage in some kind of medical or surgical aspect of transition, and as a result, they physically change clearly drastically, and that will affect relationship as well. So we're talking about transgender binary identified couples. So what are the two factors that I have consistently observed that tend to be present in couples, whether again you're married or not, that tend to make it through transition? Well, the number one main factor is what I call emotional traction in relationship. So what do I mean by emotional traction? Well, emotional traction falls into two categories. First category is how long has a couple been together? Whether again married or not, how many years of shared experience do they have? And that's really kind of an emotional traction of their emotional bank, if you will. So if we were to look at our relationships and the longevity of our relationships, as if every year we're editing emotional traction, emotional experiences, memories into our bank of our relationship, how full is your bank? Is your bank positive or is your bank in debt? And I'll explain what in debt means. But if your bank is positive, that means that you have had a lot of great shared experiences. You have had a really great, emotively cohesive marriage or relationship or partnership. And if there are conflicts, which of course, let's be honest, there's always conflicts in relationships, you were able to effectively communicate and resolve conflicts, and you were able to grow closer as a unit as a result of it. So that's number one factor. So that means your emotional bank is very rich, right? And sometimes the more years you have together of that emotional type of positive friction or traction, if you will, the better off you're going to be when a partner comes out, because you have all of this invested interest, and you're also still very emotively connected to your partner, and you don't want to lose that, or your partner doesn't want to lose that. On the other hand, if you have been together for 15, 20 years, right? And that's a long time, that's a lot of memories and a lot of experience. But your marriage has suffered over the course of your relationship has suffered over the course of the time. And it could have suffered for a number of reasons. It could have suffered because you were experiencing a lot of dysphoria and you were hiding it from your partner. So as a result, you were maybe avoidant or dissociating or maybe withdrawing a lot or doing a lot of other kind of defensive things because you weren't feeling comfortable with your body, which is very common. And as a result, partners become distancing themselves. So, or for example, if you're a couple that tend to fight a lot and doesn't do a really good job at effectively communicating and repairing those things. In other words, even if you had the 15 or 20 years of traction relationship, but if that traction is not a positive traction, if it's built on negativity and resentment and contempt, then that's going to be a debt account, right? Because that's taken away from the positivity. That's your negative debt as a couple that you have incurred. And that's really not going to help you when you're going to decide to come out and transition. Whereas on the other hand, I've seen couples be very successful when they've been together for a long period of time, or even for a short period of time, but the quality of the time they've been together is a very good positive, build on, capitalized quality time. So those couples tend to relate to one another and really understand each other really well. And when the partner comes out and discloses, yes, the other partner still has a difficult time. Yes, it's still devastating for many. Yes, a lot of times you do question whether it is for them or not, but oftentimes or not, they decide to stay together because of so much time invested in this relationship. And it's such a positive investment. It makes it hard for us to walk away from it. So again, number one factor is how long you've been together and what is the quality of the time being together? What is your emotional attraction? Is your emotional bank as a couple positive or is it net negative? So if it's net negative, and you come out to your partner and your partner already has all of these negative associations to you, well, guess what? You just gave them probably a final reason for them to say, I'm out, I'm done. Because already have all this negative net that they accumulated that makes it that much more appealing to just walk away from. Whereas you see how the difference here, whereas a couple that has all this positive net worth and you come out, a partner is less likely to say, I'm out, I'm just going to leave it all behind. A partner is more likely to say, well, I care about you. You mean a lot to me. We have all this time built up together. Let's see how we can move forward. So that's number one, and that's a very, very big number one. The second factor that also affects is how flexible is the partner, the other partner, not the partner that's coming out, but the other partner, in shifting their paradigm, internal paradigms about sexuality and what sexuality really means. Because a lot of times, the second reason why a lot of times couples break apart is because a partner says, well, I'm not attracted to men, or I'm not attracted to women. And that becomes a deal breaker. But if they're more flexible, and if they especially hopefully work with somebody, with a therapist or a sex therapist, they can help them understand that sexuality for majority of people ends up being very fluid, especially for women. It's very common for women, and there's a whole research studies that Lisa Diamond did, and she published a book on it. I think it's called Sexual Fluidity or something like that, where she talks about it, how especially for women, sexuality over time as women get older tends to get very fluid, meaning it's very common to be attracted to one partner, for example, a male partner early on, and later in your life to find yourself being very drawn and attracted to women. So if a partner is able to have a flexible paradigm and able to work around shifting that paradigm, or even able to give itself time to work on intimacy with you, to work on connecting with you through your body, your new body, and your new sexuality, that can really help, because as paradigm shifts, our understanding what we're attracted to also shifts, because it's not, for a lot of us, it's not something that kind of static. It's something that's constantly fluid and changing. So that's another second biggest factor. One, again, is how long you've been together and what the quality of that relationship has been. And two, whether your partner is flexible enough in shifting their paradigm. And a lot of times that flexibility is primarily about educating and having somebody talk to your partner about fluidity, about sexuality and same-sex loving or heterosexual loving and whatnot, and just really educating and broadening their mind and broadening their scope. But those are the two main factors. Number one being the absolutely primary one in couples. All of my couples who make it through the transition have either, long time together, or they have a combination of time as well as quality time. And unfortunately, couples who tend to fall apart fall into two categories for me. And usually they're couples that haven't been together long enough. So there's not much investment. It makes it easy for partner to say, this is just too much for me. Or two, they have been together for some time, but it's not negative worse in their emotional bank, and you just gave them another reason why they can just drop it all and walk away. So there you go. There's two main reasons. People ask me that all the time. I know a lot of people are afraid to come out to their partners because they're afraid to lose it. I always encourage people to ask themselves, evaluate your own relationship. What is it that you potentially might lose? And if it is something that's not positive, chances are your partner will be there for you. If it is something that's not negative, then ask yourself whether you even want to still stay there. Don't you deserve also a chance to find somebody so that you can create something net positive, so that can be very warm and encompassing experience. If you in a relationship and afraid to come out, comment below, let me know what your reasons are for being fearful of coming out. And if you did come out to your partner and you are transitioning, how is it working out for you? If any of this you found parallels in your relationship, I'd love to hear from you. So please do comment below, drop a comment. I read them all and I'll comment as well. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.